Happy Mid-Autumn Festival! I'm celebrating with my modern take on authentic Suzhou-Style flaky mooncakes. Check out the link down below for my recipe for this pumpkin filling with maple and bacon. We'll start by making the yosu, a barrage or roux layer for the pastry. Combine 150 grams of all-purpose flour and 70 grams of canola oil in a food processor until you get fine crumbs. We'll press together or knead the crumbs until we get a smooth ball. Wrap it in plastic wrap and chill for at least 30 minutes in the refrigerator. Next, we'll make the dough layer. This is suiyou, an oil and water dough. We'll combine 30 grams of sugar, 260 grams of all-purpose flour, and 65 grams of canola oil in the food processor until fine crumbs like before. When the ingredients are thoroughly combined, slowly stream in 130 grams of water through the feed tube and run it until the dough forms a ball. Let the dough rest for 30 minutes with the lid on. While those are resting, form the pumpkin filling into 1 tablespoon round pucks and freeze them for 20 minutes to solidify. Now that the dough is rested and the glutens are relaxed, it's much easier to work. We'll knead the oil and water dough until it's smooth. To do that, we'll slightly stretch the dough, fold it over, and press with the heel of our palm. Rotate 90 degrees and repeat. I like to divide the dough with a bench scraper into 2 halves for 8 mooncakes each, so it's easier to work with. Take 1 half and knead it a few more times until it's completely smooth. Then we'll wrap it in plastic wrap to rest for 15 minutes. Now that the dough is rested a second time, we'll form the individual puff pastries. Take one of the dough balls and poke a hole in the center like a donut. Stretch the donut to form a ring. And then cut the ring open to form a strip. We'll divide the strip into 8 even pieces by cutting it in half 3 times. Keep the pieces under plastic wrap to keep them from drying out. We'll repeat the process with half of the refrigerated yosu. Again, roll it out and cut it into 8 pieces. Unlike ordinary puff pastry, we're actually laminating the wrapper of each mooncake individually. Don't worry though, the process is simple and surprisingly forgiving. Wrap a piece of yosu into a piece of dough and pinch the top well to seal. The method is similar to making baozi, and the yosu is what gives the puff pastry its flaky layers. I found 2 methods that worked well for me when laminating the dough. The method I'm showing you here is similar to how I roll out scallion pancakes. We'll flatten the bun and roll it out thinly. I'm aiming for about 1 to 2 millimeters thick. The thinner we roll it out, the flakier the pastry will be. But we don't want to roll it out so thin that the yosu leaks out of the dough. When that's thin enough, we'll roll the dough like a log and pinch the edges to seal. Fold the log in half and pinch the sides and the seams. We're aiming to turn the log into a ball again. We'll flatten it and roll it with the rolling pin to make sure the seams seal. And let that rest for about 10 minutes while we make the 7 remaining pieces. Now we're ready to stuff the pastry with the pumpkin filling. We'll start by taking one of the laminated dough balls and roll it into a round. I'm aiming for 2 to 3 millimeters thick. It needs to be large enough to cover the filling, but not so thin that the yosu leaks out. You'll see that the top is delaminating a bit here, but that won't cause any major problems. The bottom side will be nice and smooth for a prettier final mooncake. Similar to how we stuffed the yosu into the dough, We'll wrap a puck of pumpkin filling and pinch the edges to seal it well. It turns out that my wrapper was actually a little too small, so I stretched it by pressing from the center outward. The pumpkin is frozen solid right now, so it was easy to work with. And after it defrosts, we'll gently shape it with our hands so that the mooncakes are nice and round. Place the formed mooncakes onto a parchment-lined baking sheet, smooth side up. We'll bake the mooncakes in a preheated oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes, then turn the heat down to 350 for 10 more minutes. Finally, flip them over to seam side up for a final 10-minute bake, and then they're done. As a bonus, I wanted to show you another method for laminating the dough. We'll start the same way before by wrapping a piece of yosu into a piece of dough, then rolling it into an oblong shape. But this time, instead of rolling it like a log, we'll fold it into thirds. And then we'll roll it out again, and fold it into thirds a second time. This will give us 9 layers in the pastry. This method might be easier for you, so use whichever one you prefer. I hope you enjoy these Suzhou-style pumpkin mooncakes with maple and bacon. Please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Wishing you and your family a very happy Mid-Autumn Festival, and I'll see you next time. 祝大家阖家团圆，中秋快乐，事事圆满，我们下次再见。